Hey everybody, it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Today you all are in for a treat. We are going to talk about healing after a toxic relationship. And I could not think of a better guest to bring on the stage today. We're going to dive deep today and we're going to cut deep today, but we need to hear this. We need this information in order to grow. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss 1 second of this powerhouse speaker. This lady is phenomenal. Here we go. Hey everybody, it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today I have a very special guest. Miss Danielle is the expert in healing after a toxic relationship. She helps women across the globe turn their pain into power with an intuitive energy around healing and reprogramming subconscious beliefs that we may be facing, our women may be facing. She is the creator of the Let It Go method, which is a step-by-step process of helping women awaken their true self and their true self-worth and letting go of the constant feeling of needing validation from other people. Miss Danielle is a certified intuitive Reiki master, psychic medium, and life coach, and has helped thousands of women take their power back in her challenges and transformational programs. Please help me welcome to the stage the incredible, the amazing Miss Danielle. Welcome to the stage, Miss Danielle. Thank you for joining us on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. You have no idea.
I'm so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us so much. This is going to be powerful, powerful, powerful. Miss Danielle, diving right in, I want to get to the T of this show, right? We all have suffered at some point in our lives, or if we haven't, it may happen down the road. And we want to prepare. I want to prepare my audience, the women in the audience, with the necessary tools to recover when disaster strikes. And we're going to talk about toxic relationships and healing after toxic relationship. But let's get to the definition. What is a toxic relationship?
So great question. So we really have to get to the bottom of that. So I feel as though there's two different kinds of toxic relationships. There's a toxic relationships where people are just not getting along anymore. Maybe they fall out of love with each other. They stay for too long in that relationship, and then things start to become toxic. Maybe just not giving anybody love, not having sex, like that kind of stuff, which can lead to a toxic relationship. The toxic relationships that I work with are kind of narcissistic, abusive, toxic relationships. So these are toxic relationships that there's manipulation going on, there's abuse going on, whether that be physical, sexual, or emotional, but there's definitely even financial control. There's just so much more in those types of toxic relationships than the toxic relationships that just form because people are too afraid to let go of the relationship, and then toxicity just forms there. We want to focus on the narcissistic, abusive types of toxic relationships today.
That's so true. That's so true. And so important, right? Being able to recognize when a toxic relationship is present. What are some of the symptoms? What are some of the signs of if that young lady out in the audience, speak to her right now and give her some of the hints, the curtail signs that she should be looking for in a narcissist. Bum, bum,
Yes.
bum.
So let's talk to them first, how they're feeling. A lot of the times when you're in a narcissistic, toxic relationships, you're going to be questioning yourself a lot. Like you want to stay, you want to go, you want to stay, you want to go. You're going to feel probably anxious, especially when your spouse comes around. You're going to start to feel like there's something wrong, but you don't know what it is. And you kind of want to leave, but you feel like you have to stay. So there's a lot of that going on. But with a narcissist, I explain narcissism. I explain narcissism and codependency on the actual same line of empathy. So a narcissist to me has no empathy. And a codependent, which we think is like we depend on other people to kind of survive, I feel as though codependency is really just seeking love and validation outside of yourself, which we have a lot of empathy over there. So we give. But with the narcissist, they lack empathy. So if they do something wrong, they're not really going to apologize for it. They're going to put it back on you, which is called gaslighting. They try to make you feel like you are the problem. And this is where the confusion comes. And this is why a lot of women can't get out of these toxic relationships, is because they think it's all their fault. They think that they're the one. And this is what happened in my marriage, where I did 2 years of trying to fix everything about myself because he kept telling me I was the problem. And then I finally realized like I wasn't the problem. And I was very, very close to going on anti-anxiety medication before that. And once he was gone, I didn't need the medication anymore. So you can feel that way just because this person is around you all of the time.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom. Once the actual toxicity, the actual person, once they left, the healing was able to commence. The true healing was able to begin. Thank you for breaking that down. I need you to debunk a common myth. There's a myth that women who enter toxic relationships have daddy issues. Is that the case? In your experience, in your vast experience, is that the case?
I mean, I did. I will say this. They're not to blame for sure, because I talk about energy and I'm sure we'll get into that, but manipulative narcissistic people will know who they can manipulate within the matter of minutes of meeting them. And it's because of our childhood. That's why I'm doing the childhood, heal your childhood trauma challenge, because all of this goes back to our childhood, whether it be the father, it could be the mother as well. So we don't want to blame the dads all the time, right? But there's something that happened in childhood where you didn't receive the love that you needed as a child in the way that you needed it as a child. And that we can talk about that. But when you don't receive that love as a child, you're going to settle for anything that feels good to you. And with narcissists, they're really good at doing something called love bombing, which is usually the honeymoon stage of a healthy relationship, but they love bomb you in the very beginning. So like you don't have a chance. In the first couple of days, they're going to be telling you every single thing that you want to hear. They're going to be asking you questions about yourself. You're finally going to feel like, oh my gosh, somebody cares. And then all of a sudden they flip. And they start to unveil their mask of who they really are, but they're getting all the details, and you're going to feel like they're your soulmate within a couple of weeks. So they have you hooked. And once they know that they have you hooked, they're going to flip it. And now you're hooked. And now they start treating you the way that they treat you. So it's not your fault, first of all, for sure. And second of all, is in order to stop these types of relationships or even attracting them to you, is to heal that childhood trauma.
Miss Danielle, y'all, I told you she is spilling the tea. This is what we needed. This is what my audience needed. This is what I needed to hear. Because just like you said, it's not your fault, right? And to hear that probably doesn't register at first, but once you hear it over and over again and saying, you know what, this isn't my fault. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, Miss Danielle. That's exactly the tea we needed right now. You guys don't go anywhere. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. You guys stay tuned, stay with us, stay engaged. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels. Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level, Duke Duchess, which is our season level, and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We have Miss Danielle on the stage. She is helping us learn. She just broke it down earlier, guys. If you missed it, she just broke down some of the signs to look for when dealing and addressing a toxic relationship and identifying what a narcissist, how they get into our minds and how they get into your head to fool you into thinking that there is love here when there's no empathy here at all. If you missed that, go back, scroll back, tune back, and check her out. She is amazing. Miss Danielle, you gave us the tea. You spilled the tea and what a toxic relationship looks like, the definition of a toxic relationship. But now you've set us free. You've gotten us to the point where we're able to walk away. How can we heal? How can we start the healing process from that toxic relationship? Because the damage has been done already. What do we do?
So I'm gonna share with what I worked for me. Okay. So I tried years of therapy, and it's always good to have somebody to talk to, that somebody's qualified, that knows like maybe how to deal with some stuff. If you are working with a therapist, please make sure that you're working with a therapist that understands narcissism, because I was working 2 years and they never even mentioned that word to me. I had no idea I was in that kind of relationship. But for me, my healing didn't really take place until I started using something called energy healing. I wrote a whole book on it. It's not you, it's your energy, and how energy causes chaos in your life, because we try to work with our mind so much, but we really need to work with our energy. And we need to go back to childhood, because what's happening right now, as that toxic relationship, has nothing to do with right now. It has every reason to do with the childhood. So we want to definitely heal our childhood, but we want to do it with a combination of energy work and the combination of reprogramming your subconscious beliefs. So, the talking, and we don't really have to talk things out. I always say, like, you don't need years of therapy in order to feel better. It's the energy that's going to start to make you feel better. The first time I went to an energy healer, I bawled like a baby on the table. She was an intuitive, just like myself. She knew things that were going on that I didn't even say to her. And by the time I left there, I felt lighter. I felt like something had shifted, where in therapy, I just kept rehashing the same thing every single week. So I think, like, if you're just getting out of that toxic relationships, first of all, I want to say congratulations, because that is the hardest thing and the hardest decision that you have to make, especially when you have children. So I really congratulate you on that. And if you're going to do it, like, I push you, please do it, because the happiness on the other side is so much better than what you're living in. And definitely dive into working with your energy and also reprogramming your mind.
Love that. Love that. Love that. So where can my audience get the book? Where can we get a copy of that book?
Yes, it's on Amazon. So just search It's Not You, It's Your Energy.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Get that book, y'all. Get a copy today. Don't wait. Don't even think about it, right? Get that Narcissist's credit card and get a copy of that book. Just tell him you bought some new sex mantra books or something, right? And they'll believe you. But anyway, that is necessary. So energy. Put in the energy work. In the book, you break it down. You kind of talk about it. Even on the cover, it says it like, it's not you, it's your energy. So is my energy separate from me, but it's under my control? It's under my stewardship? How does that correlation work?
I love this. So our energy, like, we're all made of energy, but like nobody ever teaches us how to use it or even to be aware of it. And we always will start to feel sluggish or anything and think that that's our energy, which it is. But our energy actually controls our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So it actually all comes from our energy. So when we start to work with our energy, our body sits in our energy field. So think about a bubble around you, and our body kind of sits in that. So all of that energy that's around you is affecting you. And what happens is, through traumatic experiences, and trauma is really just a disturbing experience. Now, if you think of a child, as you were a child, how many things like kind of like got to you as a child? I know for me, it was like everything.
Everything.
Right? So all those things have now caused you to have these different energies in your body. And what will happen is as you go forward, things are going to trigger you. And when you get triggered, it actually brings up energy from the past. So when we can release the energy of the past, we no longer get triggered. So when our narcissist says, "Oh, well, are we over now? Like we're done, like I'm going to leave." We don't be like, "Oh, no, please stay," because we have abandonment issues from the past. Once we heal those abandonment issues, we're like, "Okay, see you later." It's very, very awesome when you work with your energy. The shift is so instant. It's unbelievable, to be honest.
So that energy is not gone, right? Energy is never dissipated, it's always transferred. So what did we do with that energy from our past? Did we, you say, heal it? Is it covered up? Is it masked over? It transitions? Energy never goes away. What did we
Mhm.
do? And do we all have the ability to do this and have that level of control with it?
Yes, I love that question. So basically we're all made of energy, but the whole world is made of energy as well. So what will happen is we will take the energy, and for me, like if you're anxious at all, like I feel like the energy is swirling way too fast. That's why we get like this kind of feeling within. And what we do is we take that energy from the past and we release it from your energy field to then move into the energy of the world, the universe, spiritual teachers. So we go that way, but it transmutes into this beautiful white light energy rather than this dark negative energy.
Powerful. Woo! I need to give her, I wish I could give her a mic, y'all, so she could drop it. For now, let's give her a round of applause. Miss Danielle. Woo! Thank you, thank you. We have one more break coming up, but I wanted to touch on this. The world experienced this. The world was shocked. Derek Jackson, the love coach, the love doctor. This man was every, I want to say every woman's just go to, right? He always spoke about the truth, what men are doing wrong, how they need to address it, what ladies need to look for in a relationship. That veil is now been lifted, and the media attention around it now is it's come out that he cheated on his wife. He's cheated on his wife several times. And so and and now the world is upset, and women across the board are feeling like this man is a liar. He betrayed me. He betrayed my trust. Is that the definition? Does that fall into a toxic relationship when a man who coaches to this, speaks to this, mentors to this, now has betrayed our trust, betrayed my trust, betrayed women's trust around the world? How do they come back from that? How do we heal from that?
Whew, okay. There's a lot going on here with this. He was one of the first ones that I started listening to when I was getting out of my marriage. I loved him. I felt like he was a real man, like everything that I wanted, right? I stopped listening to him a long, long time ago. So I didn't know this until you actually just brought this up for me. But what I will say is this. First of all, we can't take his actions personally. Okay. We have to appreciate the tools that he's given us. So the things that he said that might be correct. But all in all, you have to always make your own decisions and always have clarity on what you want, not what he tells you you should look for, first of all. Everyone needs to kind of go within yourself and not listen to everybody else. Second thing is that we don't really know what happened in his marriage. Maybe he cheated. You said his wife is still staying with him. So people have issues in marriages. Cheating does happen. It's a long time to stay together, whatever it is. So what I'm trying to say is that we don't really know all of the details, and I don't like to make assumptions. I like the book, The Four Agreements, like never make assumptions that you know. I think he was doing good. And from my perspective as a spiritual teacher, sometimes it's hard to live the life that we tell everybody else to do. I was an accountant before this. And I didn't keep my books. I taught everybody else how to keep their books, but I didn't keep my books, right? So what I'm trying to say is that just because his actions were not in integrity doesn't mean the things that he taught you couldn't help you. So if you choose not to follow him anymore because you've just lost trust in him, that is absolutely fine. You have every right to do that. However, I know I'm seeing betrayal, betrayal, betrayal. I want you guys to take a deep breath in with that, okay? Because the more that you sit with what he did to you, that is triggering those things that I was just talking about. That is triggering the things from the past, all the betrayal you've had from the past. So people's actions now will trigger that from the past. So all of that energy, all those relationships that you were cheated on or lied to or anything, all of that energy from all of that is coming back right now. So it's not really about what he did right now, because he didn't do anything to you specifically. I know it feels that way, and I know you're probably gonna slap me, but like specifically, he didn't cheat on you, right? You think he's lying, but he probably feels the ways that he was teaching. He probably feels that, although he didn't live up to it. But that's on him. So what's important now, feeling this betrayal, is to focus on the betrayal you've had in the past that's triggering all this hurt that you're feeling right now. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I love the way how you broke that down so delicately. I'm gonna call you Dr. Danielle, right? Dr. Danielle. We just made her official Dr. Danielle. The way you just dissected that, it's like a doctor on the operating table with a scalpel and your snippers. I don't even know if that's a real tool, your snippers, but doctors use snippers today on this show. But I love how you explain that. So thank you for breaking that down.
And my heart, like, ladies and men, like, my heart goes out to you for feeling that betrayal. And it's upsetting that he has done something like that and that's come out because it is triggering a lot of women. So I really do feel for you, and my heart goes out to you. But try to kind of disconnect from that, because that's only going to bring you further down. And let men be men. Let him do his thing. You choose whether or not you follow him or not anymore. And then if you don't, find somebody else to follow that is more respectable and like lives the life. And to be honest, like, go out and find your own guy, right? Go out and find the guy that's really meant for you, instead of watching him all the time, hoping that you'd find somebody. It's time to go out. It's time to heal that so that you can go find yours. And not every guy is going to cheat. And just know that too. Like, don't be like, oh, there we go again. Like, every guy is going to cheat. All of that whole, jumping into over exaggeration, it's not true. This is one man out of the whole entire world that cheated on his wife multiple times. Doesn't mean that your man is going to do that to you as well.
That's true. Miss Danielle, y'all. Woo. Ladies love it. The ladies love it. Absolutely. We have one more quick commercial break, y'all. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back from our sponsors.
I'm Marcus Norman, bringing fresh vibes to hot topics surrounding culture, relationships, business, finance, sex, dating, faith, and everything in between. Whether you're into passive income opportunities, trending topics and useful relationship tips, or dynamic guest speakers, there's something for everyone. You can expect all that and more every week. If you're down with this content, then consider joining our growing community by subscribing to Gentleman Style Podcast and smash the bell to get on our VIP list. Your support means the world. Thanks for watching. Link to my channel.
We are back, y'all. Oh my gosh. You all have no idea what you have missed. If you are just tuning in for the first time, I have the incredible coach, Dr. Danielle, on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage, and she's spilling the tea on how to identify toxic relationships and what to look for and what constitutes a narcissist in a relationship. And she just broke down how your energy transfers and how that energy from your past could be plaguing you today, still. In your current relationships, in your current state of mind, in your current being, you are still haunted by that past. And if we don't heal, well, you just got to get the book. Her book breaks down how to heal and how to transition through this. Doctor, you brought this up earlier. I wanted to touch on it because it's so important. And we make this mistake often, is we leave that toxic relationship. We leave that narcissist. But then when is the right time to jump back in the dating pool? Because we get lonely, we get we want someone, we desire someone, we desire that connection with someone else. But the when is the right time to jump back into the dating pool?
Right after you leave is definitely not the right time. For sure.
Right, for
Ugh,
sure.
right. That's why we get, it's like third time's the charm, right? It's because the second one's usually the rebound, and then you finally like take the time to find yourself. And that's when the right time is when you feel like you don't need a relationship, you want one. With the women that I work with in my program, I tell them do not date during our program, because there's two reasons. One is because you're not ready. And first of all, I want all of my clients to get to the point of loving their life so much being single that they will not settle for anything less than they want in a relationship, because they'll be like, nope, I'm much happier without you. So nope, goodbye. So that's number one. And then number two is because if you are going to heal after a toxic relationship so that you can enjoy, like have joy back in your life and stop needing validation and feel better and let go of those abandonment issues and all of this stuff, you are going to raise your vibration. You are going to be a different person. And what happens, and this is the toxic relationships that we were talking about in the beginning, is as you heal, the other person might not. So if you jump into another relationship, first of all, you're probably not going to do healing, and you're probably going to get into the same situation again and just go with that. And I've seen that many, many times with people in my Facebook group. Second, you're going to, if you do decide to heal, that person that you're with might be down here in vibration. And as you heal, you're raising your energy, you're raising your vibration, you're raising your thoughts and all of this. You end up here and they're still down here. A lot of the times when we're in a relationship, most of the time, they don't want to do that healing. They don't want to go up. Just because you want to doesn't mean that they have to. And all of a sudden you'll be at different vibrations, and then you're going to have to break up anyway, or this is going to cause another toxic relationship, because now you're here, you want different things, you're doing different things, you're thinking different ways, and they're down here in this lower vibration being negative every day. It's going to cause toxicity again, or you're going to break up. So my advice is to take time for yourself, allow yourself to find yourself, because especially in toxic relationships, we lose who we are because we're always in that survival mode. We're always thinking about what they've said or if they're right, or getting mad or angry. And you really just need that time by yourself. And in that time, it's about finding yourself again. It's about knowing who you are and letting go of all of that energy and crap that's been on you for so long. So once you do that and you're loving your life, that is when the best time to start dating is again.
So true. So true. Thank you. Thank you for that. What is the difference between intuition, right? Our intuition. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it that gut feeling. Others call it psychic abilities. What is the difference between intuition and that energy and your psychic abilities, and knowing how to identify the two? What's the difference between the two?
Okay, so into psychic, let's start with psychic abilities. Psychic abilities is really just the connection to a different energy that is not in physical form. So a lot of people think it's like, connecting, like we have this special gift. Everyone has the gift because we're all made of energy, but you just need to learn how to actually do it. And all it is like muscles inside of your body. These are muscles with your energy, with your mind, in order to tap into and kind of get messages from a different energy that is not in human form. The intuition that we talk about is we have something called a higher self, and it's an energy above that is in my book, I talk about the soul and the spirit. And the spirit is an energy that lays up in the universe. Okay. And this has nothing to do with religion. So this is, and you can believe in any religion, and this is just science. This is just energy. like you said, it doesn't go anywhere. So when we die, our energy is still around, and our energy holds our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So this is why we can tap into an energy that's not in physical form and receive messages about your life right now. Like your great grandmother might come through and tell me something about you. And that's just because I'm tapping into an energy, just like I would tap into your energy if we were here in the human form. So that's really the psychic ability. So it's not this big like secret thing or whatever. It's really just energy. And I talk about that in the book. Our intuition, though, our energy, I feel like a little piece of our energy comes into our human body from a bigger energy that stays up in the universal energy. So our intuition for me is about tapping back to the energy that already knows like our life and knows things that's going to happen. I know if you're not spiritual and you don't believe in all of this, it might sound very, very crazy. And believe me, I thought so too. I was an accountant before all this, but it's actually true. And so our intuition is about listening to our connection to that higher energy that's not in our physical body, but it's connected still to the universe. So therefore, that is the intuition that we want to pull from. Instead of being in what I call the ego, which is edging greatness out, is our human mind, which always wants to take us to the negative side of things. Our intuition wants us to pull us to like the greatest things that we can achieve in this lifetime. And usually it's really, really scary because they know that we can achieve much more than our human mind can like conceive.
Love it, love it, love it. Doctor, what would you say if you had one more tool in your tool belt? You've dropped so many dimes, so many nuggets just now. If you had one more tool, what advice would you say to that young girl, that young woman out in the audience who her back is against the wall? She doesn't have family to go to. She's in a toxic relationship right now as we speak. She's in that toxic relationship right now. What advice, what's the first thing she should do to get out of that toxic relationship?
The first thing she needs to do is to heal herself. I don't recommend trying to get out of a toxic relationship unless, of course, it's physically abusive before healing yourself, because you need to get strong enough and mentally and energetically strong enough to deal with the manipulation that's about to come when you try to leave that toxic relationship. Because what you're dealing with in the toxic relationship isn't going to be as bad as what you're going to deal with when you try to leave it. When you try to leave a toxic relationship, you cause what's called a narcissistic injury, and their ego is shot. So therefore, they're going to come back. They're going to say things. One day they're going to be pissed off. The next day they're going to be crying and saying they're sorry. And you have to be mentally strong enough and energetically strong enough in order to see through that BS and be able to still stand your ground and set your boundaries. So healing, no matter what stage of a relationship you're in, whether you're in it, going to get out of it, or after it, it's healing that's really going to get you to the position that you need to be in order to make those hard decisions.
Wow. I can't even come behind that. I have nothing to say behind that. I just want to let that sit there and marinate a little bit. Miss Danielle, you have something special for my audience. You have something coming down the pipeline. What is that?
I do. Starting Monday, September 13th, I'm starting a challenge. It's a 3-day challenge, and it's to heal childhood trauma. So if you have been in childhood trauma, if you feel as though you've had it, and you could use the trauma, you could use the word wounds, abandonment issues, daddy issues, mommy issues, even sibling issues. If you feel as though you didn't get that love that you needed as a child, if you were abused, if you were sexually abused, emotionally abused, we're going to talk about all of that in these 3 days in order to really help you understand the process of healing your childhood so that you can become the best version of yourself and really be happy within.
Absolutely. And we are going to put that down into the chat so the audience can snag that link. Ms. Danielle, how can my audience connect with you? How can we grow with you? How can we continue to learn more and stay connected as you grow and as you teach and as you speak to this topic?
Yeah, so I have a Facebook group called Turning Pain into Power. Unfortunately, it's only for women, but I do have a YouTube channel where I do tarot readings. If you're into that kind of stuff, that's also for men. So if you're a man, you can come over there. And I do kind of coach and teach through my readings as well. So, and you can always find me at DanielleIngenito.com online. And I have a lot of freebies. So there's a deep energy clearing over there. So you can actually let go of some of the energy, especially if you're dealing with the narcissist, those energy vampires, release that energy. There's a cutting cords meditation. And then there's an inner child healing over there too that you can catch.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Ms. Danielle, I want to say thank you publicly for what you do. Thank you for being brave enough and strong enough to step out and give back in this way. Thank you for being the leader, the innovator, right? And stepping out and giving back in this way and teaching us what unfortunately, so many women are facing and dealing with, and they feel all alone. They feel back to a wall. Oftentimes, just like you said earlier, that manipulator, that narcissist, it comes in various forms. It could come in financial, and oftentimes what they do is they cut you off from those keepsakes, those family members who could pull you out. And so thank you for being the voice for so many women that can't speak out right now. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you too having this podcast and inviting me on. And it's been a pleasure sharing this information and this knowledge to your audience. So thank you very much.
It is my absolute honor. We need this. We need this. My audience needs this. We all need this. And so thank you for not giving up on us. What I want to say this to you publicly: don't ever quit. Don't ever give up. When you're feeling low and you're feeling like you're feeling down and you're feeling like, man, is this even working? Don't ever give up. We need you. The world is changed by you every single day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I appreciate you all, my audience, for tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast show. I hope this message has served you, and I hope this helps you realize that you are valuable, you are worthy, and you're important. You are the most important thing, and to never give up. And if you need some help, if you need someone to speak to, Ms. Danielle is the voice of reason in that arena. And if you're suffering from a toxic relationship and you don't feel comfortable enough to reach out right away, contact me and I will get you in contact with her privately and discreetly, and keep your information as private as possible if you don't feel brave enough to speak out today, because you matter. Absolutely. I hope this message has served you. And like I always end every show, take care of your family, take care of your home, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, your favorite gentleman, and Miss Danielle, Dr. Danielle, signing off today. We love you guys. Bye.